Do you remember your first reading?
I do. And it was the same thing. It was like, oh, I'm really being seen. The first quick reading I had, I was literally walking around Berkeley, and I didn't know that there was an enormous psychic center there. And I literally stumbled into one
Oh,
and
how
had,
about that?
yeah, and had a quick reading and healing. And I think that the reader was attempting to be validating, but the way that the communication came across had a little bit of judgment in it. And so I was like, I don't even know what she's saying. But she said to me, again, with a little bit of a tone of judgment, you're healing like 10,000 people in your aura. And I was like, is that right?
Is that good or bad?
I
I
mean,
don't
I'm
know.
right. I was like, is that a bad thing? I don't know. But the idea was it was the first time that someone said hello to me on that level of, oh, you're a healer. Like you're a big healer. Like your energy is healing for other people. People like to sit in your aura because your energy is healing. And yes, nobody had ever communicated that with me. And it did resonate with me that it's just the way that it came across was a little awkward, but I did later, upon reflecting on what was communicated, I understood, okay, yes, people appreciate my energy. That's nice. But maybe the part about carrying them around with me in my aura, maybe that's why life was definitely very difficult at the time. I was carrying too many people's problems around with me, too much pain for me to function well at the time. Yeah, that first reading can be a huge hello. I proceeded to forget about that reading until I encountered the psychic center again, a different one in Hawaii. Saw the balloon,
Ah,
went in, said, this is a very familiar energy. And my first longer reading was, yeah, very validating about just who I really was. And I hadn't really experienced that before. It was lovely. But the training itself felt super important for me at the time. I don't think anyone ever communicated why. It was just, I could sense that the sensitivities that I had were not going to be able to be turned down. And instead, I needed to use them for my benefit. So that's what it taught me. And I'm so glad that you teach this and that there are others teaching this, because I think there's a lot of empaths walking around kind of buried in energy and not really understanding how to shift that or even what that's all about. Like not even
well,
recognizing.
or that it even can be shifted.
Right.
Because
Right.
I've been looking at some of the literature that people read out there, and I'm not seeing solutions. It's more, no, you're an empath. It's okay.
And that's a problem, maybe.
Yeah, I think that's my concern, is that then it's building in even further that you have this problem, but it's okay to have the problem.
Yeah.
But to
Just
me, it's
manage
not
the
a
problem.
problem at all. That was the door opening to all these other levels, which I'd always been curious about. I was reading at the time, this like the 80s and 90s, I was reading every spiritual book at the time called self-help. And that was
Right.
just, that was a new genre just starting to come out. And I knew when every book was going to drop, and I would go to that
Yeah, you were really looking.
bookstore. I
Yeah.
was really looking. I didn't look in
Right.
clairvoyant direction. That wasn't around. So I
Right.
was looking in these books, and I think this is nice information, but it's missing a real key
Like,
part. Is you just think about things, but what about doing? Like I'm a doer.
yeah,
So by
you want to
learning
get
how to
it
run
done.
energy and stuff, it gave me something to do and adjust my energy. And it took practice. It didn't happen on the first time around that I could turn down everybody's emotions around me. It took practice,
It does. It takes time to really get to know yourself and what the
but it
difference
can,
between your own energy and everyone else's energy is.
but 100% you
You
can shift.
absolutely can. Yeah. Got to be
The
patient.
thing, obviously, we both learned too, is that we don't stay there about feeling energy. That's just one of the clairs.
Yeah.
Clairsentience, of course, that then we're routing energy up to the upper chakras to see, hear, and know what's going on with your friend instead of having to lower my energy to match it to understand it.
Yeah. You don't have
That
to.
was a revelation.
Oh, yes. Very exciting revelation. Oh, this is not a problem. This
Yes,
tension.
yes.
This feeling everybody's energy. It's only a problem when we don't recognize where it's coming from, where that actual ability is coming from within us. Then we can redirect that creative power and that awareness to, like you said, a higher vibration, higher vibe. Hello. so that it can be used to support our own healing and the healing of others. I love that. So tell me another instance where you noticed a huge difference in just how you lived your life, how you navigated the world in terms of the before you had tools or psychic training and after. What really shifted for you?
Spiritual boundaries. So I think we learned the therapy boundaries first, and this was spiritual boundaries. And when I say that, I mean going along with the theme of sensitivity and feeling other people's energy and stuff. It was one step beyond that too. I didn't get the validation of healing 10,000 people in my aura, but I probably was too.
You wrote that.
Because I'm very interested. If it helps one, then it helps a group.
Yeah.
So I have that kind of group natural focus of
Yeah.
interest anyway. And I know early on, as far as I can remember, like even being in college or high school, and people coming to me and sharing their problems, and the boyfriend broke up, and oh, what do I do over here? And I felt, okay, this is right. They should be coming to me, and I'm supposed to have the answers. And I don't know what I blurted out. I'm sure whatever I thought was the answer at the day would be very different today.
Yes.
But the thing was, people were naturally coming in because I was a natural healer, and I didn't know it for a long time. So that was a big shift in being able to just own my own energy and have spiritual boundaries to go, that person's going through their life lessons, and I can allow them to have their life lessons. It's not up to me to fix their life lesson.
You don't have to fix it for them. Yeah, yeah. You don't have to solve every problem that everyone comes to you with. I love that hello, though, that you just gave to a clear sign that someone's a healer, right? When people come to you, you're a safe space. You're just naturally a safe, welcoming, compassionate energy. So people who don't even know you just come and start telling you, really offloading some of their stress onto you. And that's not a bad thing if you have, like you said, psychic boundaries, that awareness of what's yours, what's not, and just being able to have compassion without taking responsibility for all those problems that people
Tools.
Yeah.
Tools. For me, I love the do part, right? Going into action. I'm better at action than thinking about things. I would jump off the cliff and then go, there's probably a parachute back there. I'll be fine. It'll be fine.
Metaphorically speaking.
Yeah, pretty much. And now I forgot what I was going to say. A squirrel?
I got stuck on the jumping off the cliff part. I was like, you haven't actually tried that, right? Is that a metaphor?
Metaphor.
But I love what you're saying is take the leap first and then discover on the way down.